Welcome, everybody, to
Hello.
Talking with Tom and Jim. I'm so happy to be here. Tom Goldrup, Jim Goldrup. For once, I am pointing to the correct one when I do it. They are film historians. They have written 4 books on the history and golden age of Hollywood. They have all kinds of stories. They've traveled the world. I'm trying to give you guys as many of the credentials as I can possibly. They're actors. They're writers. Jim, I know, has composed film soundtracks, which we've never talked about, and maybe we should, and all kinds of stuff. So, guys, welcome. Thank you for being here to your show. I appreciate it, and it's always fun to talk with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for putting up with us.
And it's good to see Matthew.
Yes. And next to me is Matthew Rose, who does so many amazing things. He's a graphic artist. He's a prop man. He's a writer. He's a producer. I don't even know what else to say, but he's an actor. He's definitely done a million things in acting, which is how I first met him, and then realized, oh, you're an actor, but you do all these amazing other things. You should do a tour of, I bet you have online somewhere, a tour of your shop sometime. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Rose is next to me. I'm just so happy to have you back on the show. As much as I don't like having Dan. He's a schmuck. So I'm very glad to have you back. I'm your host, Jeff Greenwald. It's so great to be here. And the best thing that I'm so happy now, and you can tell I'm kind of ecstatic, because now I just have to sit back and do nothing, because the rest of the time is Matthew Rose's.
Oh man, kind. So you're gonna think I didn't prep for this at all, because I didn't. No, I did. But we, as we're warming up for this show, we began to talk a little bit about places we've been. And my question, is actually along those lines. It's sort of a 3-part question. It would be like you guys, you 3 are world travelers. You've been everywhere, all over the planet, and all these different times. What would you say is the prettiest place that you've ever been, any era? And is it the same place is it your happy place that you go to, like when you're at the dentist and they say, go to your happy place? Like, is that the most beautiful place in the world? And if they're different, tell me why. You got it?
When I have to go to the dentist or into the doctor, they're going to give me a blood pressure, check my blood pressure. I close my eyes and I go back to the trails in the Himalaya mountains of Nepal, trekking along. And I have this little tune going through my head that was kind of a trekking song that our guide used to sing, Rishikari. So Nepal, and second, not even second, equaling Nepal is Kashmir in India. Those 2 spots. And then that's for foreign places. For in the United States, so the Red Rock country of southern Utah. And I had to put a plug in for another little town that I really like, and not really a little town. It's not a little town, but it's Kamyanets-Podilsky, my favorite town in Ukraine. And so far as beauty, natural nature beauty, it'd be a toss-up between Nepal, Kashmir, and southern Utah. For the town, it'd be Kamyanets-Podilsky and a little village called Jarkot in Nepal. Those are mine. I might have stole some of Jim's thunder.
Stole some.
Well, you haven't been.
Jim's the stall. Same.
It's, the place I usually think about is like if I'm in the chair or whatever, is going through the trekking in the Himalayas in Nepal. And the villages of Jarkot and Manang, which is way up there in the high country. And the most beautiful places, like what Tom said, I'm just repeating him, is I love Nepal, the mountains in Nepal. I love the Red Rock country, like around Capitol Reef. And Kashmir, and also places like Glacier and the Olympic rainforest up in Washington. All those pictures really beauty.
You two must be blessed you must feel blessed to have such a good traveling companion, to be born with an automatic good traveling companion. You guys, same thing. You obviously compose music together, and you guys are up for whatever challenges come up, and clearly appreciate it with the same reverence these beautiful places on Earth. So what a joy. Now, is my understanding you have or had other brothers and sisters growing up? Is that true?
We have two older brothers. We have a sister, but we never knew her. She died before we were born. Then we
Okay.
have our brother Ray and our brother Bill.
And Bill passed away a couple of years ago.
You two are like peas in a pod, it looks to me like, right?
Yeah, except for like when we're in Bombay, India, and we get into an argument who has to do something, and we threaten to go. If you don't do this, I'm going to go open the window, go sit on this little balcony outside this 2-story high place,
On a ledge.
not a balcony. And we got, finally we solved the problem, but no, 99% of the time we get along really good.
What I love is that you say, yeah, we get along, except for when, and you have one specific instance.
Jim said he wouldn't take a picture of me sitting out with the gargoyles up on the top of Notre Dame. He said he won't do that because he doesn't want me climbing
You
over.
wanted to climb over the railing and sit on the small.
Sit with the gargoyle, But so there's little.
Because he loved you, didn't want you to get hurt. That's
He
cute.
loved me too much to have me do that. Yeah.
like if you said and if you said with Matthew and I, so do you get along all the time? I'd be like, no. Can you think of examples? How much time have you got? Like we have fun and we get along great.
Yeah,
but
we love each other and we have.
But like if you let me talk about the one time that we fought. You had it back in 1974. This happened, right? Like you have the one argument or the one thing.
Another time, I was directing a play, and Jim was the star. But we were doing directing the play version of The Last Bell, the one that we did the movie that you were in, Jeff. And I was directing it, and Jim was in it. We got into an argument about something. We were yelling at each other, and a friend of ours who did something for on the sound. He said the thing he enjoyed most about the play is watching Jim and I have our arguments.
Okay, so maybe I'm wrong.
Once in a while, we have a little disagreement, but like Matthew says, I couldn't ask for a better. I couldn't ask for a better traveling companion than my brother Jim here.
But that was not as a brother to brother argument. It was
the actor to director.
Actor to director argument.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I'm glad that Jim and I have done all these trips together.
Oh yeah.
I tried to get him to go to Ukraine, but he didn't go with me. Yeah,
I didn't.
So Liam, that tells you how much I love you, Jeff.
I'm not your son. I'm not your son.
Jeff, rather. How about you? If you think of, say, the most beautiful place you've ever been, or your happy place, or a place that you could see yourself like retiring, what's that place that's kind of the golden place on Earth for you?
See, I have different answers for them all because they're very different because of my experience. So the most beautiful place on Earth that I've been, I'm a water guy. Like, I love water, right? And so the most beautiful place I've ever been is called Guadeloupe. It's an island in the French Caribbean. My advice for everyone is to never go there, but it's beautiful. If you and the reason why I was there for the show Death in Paradise, the BBC drama that's been starting their 11th season, so it's fairly well known. It's huge in the UK, but it's filmed there, and it's filmed in a little village called Deschamps in Guadeloupe. And so when I was there, it was beautiful. It was breathtakingly beautiful, and it was the most miserable time I've ever. So for the environment, the elements, it looks beautiful and feels terrible. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The air, the storms, the bugs, I hated it, but it's so beautiful. So if you could eliminate that and find a place just as beautiful, that would be my paradise. If I'm in a dentist chair, And I've done this. So I've posted on social media about this. I didn't know if you remembered this and we're bringing it up because of it. But when I'm in the dentist chair, honestly, like if I have a root canal or something horrible, I will be laying there and thinking, at least I'm not on an airplane. Because I hate flying so much that, like, I was in the chair going through, what do I hate worse than what's happening to me right now? An airplane. And honestly hate flying. I'd rather have a root canal than be on an airplane. And so that's my dentist chair story. I think that if there's a happy place, I think that I was the most happy someplace. It was Tenerife. On the Canary Islands, just north of Africa, about 60 miles off the northern coast of Africa, like so off of, from Casablanca. There's the Canary Islands, and in the Canary Islands, there's a bunch of island groupings, but one of them is called Tenerife. It's a Spanish island, and I lived there for about a month once, and I basically was just sequestered there writing. I had to get a bunch of writing done, and so that's where I flew. I flew from England there and then back to England. But it was the most heavenly place to just be at peace. It wasn't the most beautiful place. It basically reminded me of Phoenix surrounded by water. So if you can imagine Phoenix, but it's surrounded by an ocean, that's what it was. So just rocks and desert. But it was just so relaxing and just mellow, and that's why it's a big vacation spot for Europeans, and that's why. So I think that but I'm a water guy, and so you have to take all that with a grain of salt. Water.
Yeah, we Jim and I, we like trekking and hiking, so that's one reason why we really like Nepal. I mean, Jeff wouldn't want to walk over the miles that we did.
I couldn't do it now.
But Jim can't do it now. I don't know if I could or not. I'd like to try. But as much as we like Nepal, as much as we like India, there's one thing that you have to really watch out for. You can get really, really sick, and we both did it. And that part, even though I love it over there, the time, like in Nepal, the time that you were sick for a couple of nights there in Kathmandu, he was miserable. I mean, there was a big demonstration walking down the streets outside our hotel, people carrying torches and stuff. I called him, come to the window and look. He didn't even want to get out of bed and go look at it, So, yeah. Matthew, what about you?
My go-to place in the dentist chair, or anytime I need to go to a happy place, that would be the top of Clouds Rest in Yosemite. It's the highest or biggest exposed granite face, I think, in the world. And you're higher than the horizon. So as you're lying there looking at the dome of the sky over you, it passes past your peripheral and keeps going down behind you because you're that high up.
Wow.
And it feels probably 25 feet across the top. So it's sheer face, 25, 30 feet across the top, and then sheer face down the other side, sort of a, parallelogram type shape. But it feels like you're sitting on the head of a pin. But I feel completely at peace there, and I feel perfect there. So that's where I go if I'm in the dentist chair. The prettiest place I've ever been, I'm sorry, Jeff, but it was in an airplane during a super full moon. So it was the jumbo full moon, and it was a clear night, but all the thunder clouds were below us. So perfect, crystal clear clarity. You can see the top of the clouds and the moon, and then lightning flashes way down below. And then the city lights way, because you're up at 40,000 feet, city lights way down below there, and you can see forever. So it was very surreal. I don't think anybody could ever catch it on film or do it justice. And that to me is the prettiest place that I'd ever seen. And as far as retirement goes, you could probably guess it, but a little log cabin in the woods is where I would want to retire from. Yeah, a little place where at the shop of I could build what I wanted, and a creative suite that I could make whatever I wanted and go for little walks and catch fish. That's where I would want to retire. So it's what I bought.